Well, we finished playing Lindsay, so we won't worry about that one. Um, I don't know how long we had to go anyway for that. I think it was finished basically.
Yeah. So of course you might want to tell Zoom
Hmm.
to not use your webcam at the minute.
Oh yeah, I
'Cause,
told it to use. I've told it to use OBS virtual camera.
yeah, well, that's because it's not showing the OBS virtual camera at the moment
Right.
because it's not off. You've just got the OBS logo
Mm.
showing,
Yeah. And
just as Timbo
if I
has.
start virtual camera, that's what I
Yeah,
get. So if I turn that off, I'll just have it like that. It did have another choice there in the back. Um, I don't want video filter or nothing. So it must be all to do with the virtual camera background then.
yeah. If you switch your camera from virtual camera back to your normal to your actual webcam,
Right.
uh, you can then at least then it'll just show as black, or you can or you could turn the camera off and just have your um, normal logo thingy.
Yeah, okay, I'll try that. Because I can have it as.
There you go.
Yeah, but is that round the wrong way or the right way, that ball?
No, it's always the ball's around the right way.
For
It
you. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's
So I can use any one of these things.
yeah
But that one is the video
yeah.
in the virtual
There you
camera. Yeah,
go.
but that's the video.
Yeah,
But that's the one we don't want to play when I'm playing the
yeah.
OBS camera.
You need to you need to turn that off.
Yeah, yeah. That's only going back to the black screen.
Yeah, that'll go back to the black screen. Then you can turn OBS camera on,
On
and then you can
start virtual camera when I play a video.
yeah. Or of course, if you don't want to muck about and just want your logo up, you could just turn the camera off now by hitting stop video at the bottom
Like that.
next, like that. At least then that way you've got something a little bit better than the default
Right. Then the OBS thing. Yeah,
OBS thing.
yeah. And we didn't get into an argument doing all that, Alan.
No, because it's a lot it's a lot easier when there's only one person telling you.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
the
it.
morning's young. Yeah, I've got faith in you guys.
And plus, I do know a
Honey,
little bit, learnt over the years with the sound and the video stuff, a little bit here and there. So, been playing with it long enough. That's what differentiates between me and a flat earther. I learn and I ask questions. I don't pretend I know something that I don't. For all the flat earthers out there that may be listening.
oh, there's a few lurking, I'm sure.
We'll give this another go for one more last video. We said we're going to play from the timestamp Blue gave for. When's this one? Try thinking. You put it at about 11:50, so that's.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good place or not. It just happened to be where it was sitting. So
Oh, okay. I can just go
maybe
halfway.
go.
If it goes for 33 minutes, we can always just put it to 15 minutes and then play 15 minutes. Something like that.
Yeah.
That'll do. Right. So,
I think it's Lindsay's fault personally. It's not my fault at all.
are you passing the buck, Matt?
Absolutely.
Mm. Under a blood
Gotta
red
blame
sky. Your
gotta
name's
blame
too
the
long.
first.
Just have to call you Sky.
Yeah, Sky would be better.
Yeah, Sky. Yeah. Right, so we do that. We start virtual. No, we don't start the virtual camera until I. How do I do that? Oh, that's right. I've got to put it to there. Then transition it. So that way the peanuts are getting it. Now if I start virtual camera and get rid of that and then pin that for you guys, even though it's around the wrong way for me, it's around the right way for you.
Correct.
Which is weird for me because I'm looking at it and it's all back to front. Yeah.
Webcams do that, Terry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now what? What do we do now, Matt?
Get on with it.
Marble scientists.
Oh, I heard something
And,
about us. I'll go back a couple of seconds.
Meters is a straight line that's 10
Can we hear that? It's a bit low for me.
Long. How do you divide a straight line by an angle?
How do you divide a straight line by
That's a
an
question.
angle?
That
was his question. How do you divide?
Yeah, that's his question.
How do you divide a straight line by an angle? That's hurting my brain. That's hurting my brain trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, I had explained to him that the distance from a quarter meridian, which would be the distance from the pole to the equator, they decided, this was the French Academy, decided that they would like that to be equal to 10 million meters, that total distance, right?
All right.
And that's where the length of the meter comes from, which had originally been linked to the period of a seconds pendulum, but that varies from place to place. So they went with a new definition, and that was it. Now, along came a British guy named Hugh. He was the first one to talk about a nautical mile, and he suggested a nautical mile should be equal to 1 arc second. Well, from the pole to the equator is 90 degrees of arc. That's 5,400 arc seconds. So if you want to know how many meters are in a nautical mile, simply take 10 million and divide it by 5,400. And this has Bev completely, totally bamboozled.
Jeez.
It's the rough equivalent of Nathan Oakley trying to figure out how to get kilometers out of meters.
Yeah.
So he can't do basic arithmetic then.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. You just can't divide something by something.
So okay, there's the prelude for it, Terry.
Yeah, I was reading that bit there, what you wrote, what Bev's.
Yeah. Yeah, Terry.
Yes, Matt.
You want to press play?
I already did.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yeah, where you been?
Oh, I was otherwise busy.
Oh, no excuses.
I didn't know. Sorry.
We'll just have to dock your pay for that.
Oh, you taking 0 from 0? Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're going to take actual money off your pay.
Oh, I take a 0 off 0. How can you take something away from nothing?
Well, Riley knows how to do it somehow with ice creams.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to take £10 off your pay so that you owe him 10 quid.
No,
yeah.
Okay. Or go back to that again. You can start an up account again. It's getting up to thousands of pounds that I'm never going to pay. Can't afford it. I'm poor. Anyway,
Anyway,
let's carry on.
okay.
A serious question for the blue marble scientists.
This is to all the blue marble scientists. See, it's not just to you,
Yeah.
Blue.
Well,
Is that us?
There's
Then?
only-
Is it all?
there's only two of us. It's only you and I, Matt, because we're the only ones with certificates. So.
Hey,
true,
where's
yeah.
mine?
Yeah, get one.
Come
Hey,
on.
where's our certificate?
Timbo distributes the certificates on behalf of Blue
Alan
Marble.
Alan
so-
wants one. Paul wants one. I want one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said when Blue tells me you've put in the appropriate amount into his Patreon, I'll pay.
Oh yeah, I paid that. Yeah, I'm all good to
I
go.
didn't. No, I didn't. I still got one. I didn't pay anything.
Yeah, you paid it, Matt.
No,
Yes, you did.
no, I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no, I didn't.
No, Matt, I think you did pay in the appropriate amount to his. What's it?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
you
yeah,
did.
yeah. All right then. Yeah,
We
yeah,
all did.
Okay.
We all did.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right then.
So
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Yeah, we
Timbo's
want our
showing up the
certificate
certificate
now.
there. Oh, see, I'm paying on your behalf then, am I? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I just know it's been paid.
Well, anyway, let's get back to it. Come on, I
Okay.
want to hear this.
And how can we use this to help Nathan Oakley? He's in the desperate need of being able to do something with an angle. Supposedly, you can divide a straight line by it. Blue must be able to do something.
Divide a straight line by an angle. Look, I'm not even
course you
gonna.
Mathematically speaking, any of the mathematicians in here that can advise us as to why blue marble science is divided. I'd have to say 90 degrees is a quarter, really.
What?
yeah.
Order of what?
What was it? Yeah.
Jesus.
And I can't see how that would be. I don't know. 1,800 meters and 52. 52. Forget about that. Rounded up officially by Blue Marble.
Come
Science.
again? What?
It's in meters. I think
That's
that's
got
what
to-
confused him.
1,802 officially. All right, yeah.
90 degrees. PT. He said 90 degrees.
Oh, we
90
get-
degrees of what,
Yeah.
Bev? For 90 degrees of what?
And he divided 10 million by 90 degrees in arc minutes.
Yeah.
But still,
Fascinating.
if they relate that to this Polaris drop, they are confusing, let's say, horizontal angle with vertical angle. I cannot see
What?
the link between
Hey?
this.
What?
So
No, there's no
That's
link between this and
strange for me.
What did he say?
Seems
Why-
like a bit of a nonsense, doesn't it?
What did he say? I couldn't quite hear him properly.
confusing vertical angle with horizontal angle, apparently.
Yeah, but from the Polaris drop, and it's sort of like
Polaris from the Polaris.
unless he's trying to say Polaris drop is like the North Pole, but you know
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Polaris
it's
drop.
a Polaris drop.
Is Polaris dropped somewhere? Is it? Where has it gone?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's it dropped to?
Don't know.
I don't know. I don't believe
Like
it
not-
actually exists because I've never seen it. But anyway,
Yeah, that's true. We haven't seen this
I've
so-called
seen it. I've
Polaris.
seen it. That's okay.
I
I've
don't
seen
know.
it many times.
I'd like to see some evidence of this Polaris that you just keep claiming it.
yeah.
Well, come
Just
to
a
the
bit of
northern
a
hemisphere, and then
nonsense.
you.
A complete and utter absurdity that anybody would even present that.
because you know you
What?
can create circumference at any point of this line you call a radius. So why 10 million meters?
No.
Why not 5?
It's not the.
You can make
It's not the
this
radius.
He's not, he's
circumference-
not talking about that as being a radius. Like 2.
Why not 5 million? What?
Well, he's
They-
confusing
that-
radius and
I don't think any
circumference,
of
but
them
anyway.
have got any idea.
Nearly 2 kilometers is a radius. A radius of what?
No, I am talking about this 10 million meters. So
Yeah.
why 10 million? You can create circumference
Why not?
at any distance. Why
Yeah, they
at
did. And
this
that's why they picked 10
distance?
million.
Yeah.
So
They did exactly that.
I don't
and they
understand
picked 10 million.
how it is related to this Polaris drop or whatever. I cannot see that here. So I don't know.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
Someone has to explain to me.
I
how
don't
it
know
works.
how you can divide a straight line by an angle. That's the bit.
Straight line.
Oh,
jeez.
Bev, sweetheart,
Hmm.
listen, honey. Circumferences are not straight lines.
But in theory, you could divide a straight
Yeah.
line by angles. But anyway.
Well, you could, but we're talking
It's not
about
what
a
we're doing.
circumference here,
Yeah, but we're not doing that.
or a quarter of a circumference. That's not a straight line, Bev. And yes, you can measure the length of curved lines in meters,
Yeah.
or centimeters,
You've
Well,
all
that's something not exist.
or inches.
you've all heard it here officially. Blue just called Bev sweetheart. That's
Yeah,
I've just recorded that, Blue,
No,
by the way.
yeah, you know when you're talking to a wee child,
I know.
you know, like one of my grandkids, I
Mm.
tend to say things like that when I'm talking to somebody that's acting
Yeah,
like that way.
same,
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I apologize, Bev. Sorry. Yeah.
It's better. That's more like it. Oh, dear me.
Affiliated puss buckets.
That I'm confused about.
Yeah, there you go. There's a sound bite.
Because in order for you to have an angle, you're going to at least need 2 straight lines. But you've only got 1 to start off with. And somehow you're dividing it by an angle?
Yeah, it's curved.
What?
Well,
What's
if
he
you get confused
what's
with straight line,
What's he confused the word angle from what? From the.
well, he's not confusing. It's confusing at the circumference, and he's trying to say you can't have a straight line on the circumference, which just doesn't make any sense because you
No,
can.
what he's doing
curve,
is he's
yeah.
assuming the Earth is flat, but he's
Yeah,
not a
he
flat
basically,
earther.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
not, but he's not a flat earther.
Because he's saying,
He's
oh,
like-
it's not curved, so therefore it has to be a straight line.
Yeah,
And
that's basically what he's saying. He does this
Yeah.
all the time. He keeps coming out with things that you have to assume that the Earth is flat, and he keeps doing it. But he's not a flat earther, according to him.
Oh no! He's not a flat earther. No.
No, but he does it. He does this all the time. He keeps saying things like this, you know. And it has. What he's saying is, you have to assume that the Earth is flat. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And but his minions still lap it up when he says the Earth's not flat. Oh, God,
Well,
morons.
it's simple. This is why calling him a liar is not libelous. Because
No,
it's
'cause
damn
it's
dang true.
It's true, exactly. That's why you called him a lying. See you next Tuesday. The last time.
Exactly. It's facts. And it's not libelous because he's, lying.
Yeah.
Either he was lying about the Earth being flat previously, or he's,
Anyway, let's hear some more.
Literally just makes no sense. That's literal nonsense. There's no logical reasoning why anybody would even imagine doing such a thing.
I have noticed a trend with Bev in his channel that a lot of the times he's the one that's doing all the talking, and there's no one else in there that does anything. And this can go on for hours.
Oh, it can go on
Oh, yeah.
forever, but
Oh yeah.
the-
It'll just be him doing all the talking with one of his
Well-
minions every now and again saying the odd sentence here and there.
well, what'll happen is that half-wit paper organist will jump in there eventually, and it's even if you want to hear something worse than listening to Bev, listen to paper.
Okay.
Who,
Yeah,
to
that's
begin
true.
with, sounds like a retarded KGB agent, and makes it worse by trying to reason something about anything about physics. Guy's a complete bozo.
Scratching my head. Trying to imagine what Blue Marble was even thinking about. Forget about the number that he came up with at the end. 1,852 meters. It's like a short, brisk walk.
It's a nautical mile,
What's he talking
dipshit.
about?
What's that got to do with it? That's
How
like,
can you
so
divide a
what?
straight line by 90 degrees and get...
I didn't. I divided by 5,400 arc minutes.
In the circumference, not a straight line.
Yeah.
such a small number?
Oh, it's only a small number. Is that his problem?
Ah, two problems. Why does it have to be a
Well, it
small,
should be a bigger number.
big number?
Well, he's totally bamboozled, confused because we've got some big numbers and turned it into a small number, just like just like Oakley got confused. That's why he's bamboozled.
Oh, so that 10 million with that divided symbol with the 5,400 equals that. So that's a math equation. So he doesn't understand.
1852, yeah.
Yeah, so 90 degrees is 5,400 arc minutes, right? So that's what you're dividing the 10 million meters by.
Yeah, and then you get the
if you want.
1852 meters.
Yeah.
This is a grade school simplicity, for God's sakes. Come on,
Yeah.
Biff. I mean, we've got 10 million meters. We want to find out how many of those fit into 5,400 units of some sort.
Yeah.
Those 5,400 units happen to be arc minutes. But forget about that. We just want to know, if we divide them 10 million by 5,400, how many meters are in 5,400 parts?
Yeah.
Good God.
It's
Yeah,
simple.
how many meters in an arc?
This is
Minute, sorry.
primary school.
Yeah.
I know.
And if I remember correctly, sometime in the mid 60s, was it? They actually redefined the nautical mile to be exactly 1,852 meters instead of the 1851.05.
Yeah, I think they actually did that in 1929, but
Oh, was it that
it
early?
wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't ratified by. Actually, I think the U.S. was the last one to accept it. And it was in the 50s or 60s. But everybody had been using 1852 all along.
Yeah. In the same way that they redefined an inch to be 25.4 millimeters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It'd be interesting to see what his response
did?
would be if he asked Bev, what is an arc minute? What is it? I wonder
Does
what
he know?
Does he know? Yeah. But
Does he think
he'll pretend he doesn't know for a while, and then he'll
Till
give
he
the
Googles
answer.
it.
Yeah, until he
Till he-
Yeah,
Googles
but
it.
if
Yeah.
saying it's an arc, that implies it's not flat.
Yeah.
No, but saying it's a minute means it must be time. So
Yeah, but
that's what
what
I'm
the word.
throwing
Yeah, he
out.
doesn't like the word arc because the arc's not flat.
But it's what's frustrating is I know about geometry, and you're just saying, well, you can accept all this stuff. You don't have to accept the Earth but this is just basic geometry. It's not.
Yeah.
He basically won't accept the premise of an arc minute at all.
Mm.
Because he's gonna, if he does that, he's gonna have to accept curvature.
Yeah.
Ooh, globe.
But-
He's gonna have them.
But arc minutes exist whether the Earth is flat or a globe.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
I know.
ridiculousness.
I know,
That's the ridiculousness of it.
yeah, but in this case, in this example, what Blue's trying to demonstrate, it has to, because it is.
Yeah. I suppose if I was a Flirth, I'd just say, yeah, I accept all that, except that I don't believe it's
Yeah.
it's a curve.
Yeah, it
So
could be-
this
Then move on.
this
Move
is
on.
what this
instead
is,
of instead of saying 5400 arc minutes, he could say 5400 flat minutes.
yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it? At the end of the
Mm.
day, but what the point? My point is, this is why I think that Bev actually is a complete Poe, utter Poe. I think he does get it, but he won't accept it. He just won't accept it. He's not going to talk about arc minutes. He won't, because he can't. That's why I think he's a Poe. I know. I really don't. I don't think he. I think he's right. I don't think he ever was a flat earther. I don't think he even believes what he's talking about now. He's got a following and all his little minions, and he's accepted, and everybody loves him, and blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. And this is why he does it.
More
He's
stupid
just playing. He's playing dumb, is what he's doing.
or
He's
more
playing
dumb then.
completely dumb.
Okay, more dumb.
Yeah, yeah. He's playing it dumb.
Oh, he's gone quiet.
Playing
Pete's
dumb.
saying,
Really
imagine
Yes.
90 lines of latitude with a distance between them.
This distance is dependent of the length of the radius. So
I don't know, is it? Why are you putting radius in there? He's talking about latitude with a distance between them.
Let's not talk about radius. Can't do that.
Are they not those lines? Are they not straight lines with a distance between them, like parallel lines? Is that not what he's describing? I don't see where the radius is. Imagine 90 lines of latitude with a distance between them.
What? Should they be on top of each other?
And that distance being
there's 90, not only one,
1,852
900 or...
meters. A distance between lines. Parallels, right?
Oh God, here we go.
he's
Okay,
saying
yeah.
that this distance from the pole. So pole, it would be a point.
Yeah.
So the center of some circle or sphere or whatever.
No, that's not the center of a circle. No,
So
think
that
of 3 dimensions for Christ's
has
sake.
to be a point.
60 nautical
Sweet.
miles. So 60 nautical
silly-
miles is 1,852 meters.
It's just.
I think so.
I bet the flat Earthers
One
must be going quicker this
nautical
week.
mile is this distance in meters. I think so.
One nautical mile.
I think Oakley's having an aneurysm
yes,
at this
so
point. If he's
one-
listening.
Yeah.
1,851.
If I was a flat earther and you're saying, okay, well, the equator is the point, the sun sits over the equator, and you've got the Cape, they're set because we know where they are. And you know where the North Pole is. And the equator distance, you just say, okay, the equator to the North Pole is X. None of this, it doesn't matter whether it's curved or not. It's just ridiculous. What
Yeah.
are you on about?
There is, of course, the one little issue of 2 pi times 10 million is very close to 63 million meters. When we know that,
That's wrong.
sorry,
That doesn't sound right. No.
yeah, sorry,
I was trying to work that one out for a second.
Yeah.
Working. Where did we get
Would
that?
be,
yeah.
Try again, Alan.
that,
The radius is 10 million meters, yes, from
Yeah.
the pole to the equator.
Yeah.
that's the spherical
No,
radius.
that's a spherical radius, yeah, along the surface.
Yes.
Yeah. Along the surface, the measured distance from the North Pole to the equator.
Yes.
Yes.
Along the
So-
surface.
So therefore, if you multiply that by 2 pi, you should get
Oh.
the length
And
of
you
the
will.
equator, shouldn't you?
And you will. But you've got to
Yeah.
use spherical pi, which is at the equator 2.0.
Yeah, but Blue,
Mm-hmm.
this is supposed to be on a flat surface, isn't it? So
That's not, though.
yes, I know that. I know that. This is what I'm trying to say. This is the problem that they have. Their equator needs to be nearly 63 million miles long when we've measured it to only be 40 million meters long which we've measured it at, but the 10 million meters from the pole to the equator measured on the surface should give the length of the equator on the flat plane nearly 63 million meters.
I see your mistake there, Alan. I think you think that flat earthers think reality and their ideas have got some sort of correlation.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to throw it out there as another reason why it's bloody broken.
Oh yeah. It just gets worse the further away from the equator they get to. So
Yeah, but I mean, by the time they get down to you, it's really screwed, isn't it?
yeah, it's about 2.7 times out by the time it gets down to Australia. Oh well, where I am in Australia.
We still going? More stupid?
It's okay.
Meters
More
is
stupid.
nautical mile. I think it is. No.
This is paper that's talking, isn't it? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this
Or
paper.
maybe
somebody.
I'm not mistaken. I don't know much about this.
I don't know anything about math.
Nautical calculations and the celestial
More you-
navigation.
Yeah.
You can say that again, Paper.
Yeah, we're talking about basic math, and you.
Yeah, I think it all depends on this 10 million meters. I mean, it suggests to me that that's a straight line.
What, 10 million? if you got a rope 10
God.
if you got a rope
Oh.
10 million meters long and you curled it up, is it no longer 10 million meters long? That's the basic argument, that it's only 10 million meters when it's out in a nice straight
In
line.
a straight line, yeah.
As soon as you bend it, it's no longer 10 million meters.
Hmm.
And if that is a straight line, then I'm not aware of how you divide a straight line by an angle. So that's
No, it wouldn't
the part that I'm getting.
What do you call that? A straw man or something similar?
be. Ignorance is what I call it.
Yeah, when you make
It's
up
not a straw man.
make up a premise of whatever
Hey.
it is.
Hey, Bev, newsflash. I didn't divide a straight line by an angle. I divided a really big number by a much smaller number.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anybody else can imagine me through that to wherever they are within their imagination, let us know. I can't work out how you get a straight line and then divide it by an angle to give you a distance of an angle.
That's because you're dumber than a bucket of monkey nuts.
Sounds fantastic.
Okay, I have to drop to bed.
Okay,
Good night,
okay.
all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get how we can
No.
work a straight line into an angle and then reverse engineer it.
Well, you
back
won't get it
into
if you
having
keep
an
saying straight
angle
line and angle.
and relating an
Why does
angle
he keep
to a
saying it's
distance.
straight line?
Yeah.
It's like,
And angle.
wizardry
Well,
to
it's
me.
because- People just don't
But
seem to
somebody will be
realise,
out
like
there
his
to be able to.
followers, that he's assuming the Earth is flat, but he's not a flat earther. He's just,
Well, he's saying it's
can't
flat.
yeah, he is. He's directly
Yeah.
saying the Earth is flat by saying that.
Well,
It's a straight line, but
they-
it's not.
They get it, but he doesn't want to say it because he
No.
knows it's. Yeah.
And they all believe that he's not a flat earther.
No, they believe he's a flat earther. They just
Well, he's using flat
live on
earth
the same
arguments
plane as
anyway.
he does.
So
He lives on the same plane they do, so.
you use flat earth arguments, and obviously.
Explain that.
It's more contrarianism.
So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people sitting there
Interesting
listening to him,
night.
not saying nothing.
Again, there was some other videos or something. Was there anything else we should have been going over? I think, but Blue Marbles walked away happily. That he's, I don't know, what did he say?
He
tricked
stated
us,
the facts.
He fooled us.
Fooled you with what?
With his
Did you invent
No,
that, Blue?
No, actually,
Blue,
I said I made a fool out of you, Bev, and I fooled you.
Did you invent that, Blue? Huh? That's really clever of you.
Oh, yeah. How about it?
How about that? Yeah. To go talk to the System International and said,
I like to.
Well,
I'm
there
going to
you go.
go having a bit of an early night because last night was a very late night for me. So I'm going to be getting off a little bit early tonight.
I seriously saw 8 hours, Bev.
Yeah,
So you were on till 4 in the morning your time?
yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Flat
I gotta
Earth
go
Math
back.
came in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that before I left. He was there.
Yeah. So we had the Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth debate superhero society. We did that first, and then Flat Earth Math came in afterwards. And I may have been tired at that point. I was ready for him to go at the beginning, but I thought I'd best stick around with it.
So he carried most of the conversation from that point, at you and him? 'Cause I didn't listen to it yet.
Oh no. Yeah, Paige came to the forefront. Had a bit of a chat with him.
Oh,
You mean she yelled at him?
Well, yeah. He sort of did deserve it, but I mean, it's been pointed out that this is a war of optics and shouting at people like Math.
He definitely deserved it. He was circles.
Yeah. Go back and listen to it. 8 hours of, I don't know. Some people say frustration, right? Some people, but you can hear the contradictions that he has and he holds.
I don't think anyone's going to sit through 8 hours.
I've argued with Charles over, years ago I had a conversation with him, and yeah, I know how he is for sure. A lot of contradictions. And he doesn't like to recognize them.
Well, it's the Blue Marble scientific method, where they justify contradictions to each other and accept them and dismiss them as not contradictions. It's as we found out, it is the Blue Marble scientific method.
So it's this way. It doesn't matter what the contradictions say.
Yeah, it has to be.
Contradiction?
Just go right past that.
It has to be, and it can't be a contradiction because it has to be like that. Therefore, it's not a contradiction, and we'll just carry on.
Contradicting what you say.
I think that's you're going to see a lot more of it. A lot more people going mad as well. Because that's what happens whenever you accept a contradiction into your logical framework. You're disrupting a reasoning process. And once you do that, then all reasoning and logic just disappears. There is none. There is just nonsense.
He's projecting.
I must admit, he
Is
would
he
be an
projecting
expert
much?
on it.
That's very
Yeah.
true and a scary thought, actually.
It is. It is. It's madness. The insanity of not being able to derive a reasoning process for yourself can lead you to very strange and dark places. It's a place I would never wish upon anyone.
No.
But you're saying that unless it's your reason, it doesn't count. So that's not reasoning. That's
Take note.
preaching.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to be going over some other stuff soon. I'll get around to doing what we used to do back again at some point. I just need to work a way that I can do it. Situations change. Go on, Rob. Go on.
It's your channel. You can do whatever you like.
Level is horizontal, and you can do fuck all with an angle.
T-shirts coming soon.
Thank you. I'll probably get one.
Thank you very much, people. Anybody else?
Go
Final
on,
words.
One day you'll see for sure.
That'll do.
Let's ask him how you build a house.
So, I mean, so where's the contradiction? I mean, fact, it's 10 million meters from the North Pole to the equator. Fact. There's 5,400 arc minutes to 90 degrees. Fact. What contradiction is he talking about? What? What's not factual about that? What's contradicting what in that equation?
10,000 divided by 54 is 1850.
So unless he's saying that Blue's maths is wrong, which it isn't.
No.
Which is just basic arithmetic. I mean, he didn't say where the contradiction was, did he? He just said it's a contradiction. Okay, so what is the contradiction, Bev? Where?
Well,
show us.
And then you get this silly. I was looking at the statements underneath where Bev's posted Blue's statement. You know, water drop measurements. What's that got to do with anything?
Well, can't be worse than Polaris drop, I suppose.
No.
Oh,
we
the 2
got-
hours preceding this, when they were going crazy over over the way spherical pi behaves, that was absolutely hilarious too.
Oh, have you got that recorded, Blue?
Oh, to be on their channel.
Well, it's on his channel.
It's on his channel.
This is he lost his channel yesterday.
Did
2 hours into it. Yeah. So this was round 2 for him. What you just listened to. There's a 2+ hour section preceding it.
I think you'll have a look at your stream, Terry.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, you're trying to adjust it now. Okay. Yes, the important bit is what was actually said in this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get it to fit.
Yeah. You don't need the picture really. You just scroll down a little bit, move it down.
I have to make it smaller.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, this is a bit of real derp that I found on Twitter.
I think that's
there you go.
Now I
Can
can't
you get
read
any more derp? Can you get any more dirt that says, well, there's this girl called Caitlin says, I'm here to make people stop believing in the moon. It's not real. It is a hallucination NASA sent up in the sky to make us believe it is real.
Oh, hallucination.
It's apparently NASA are sending up hallucinations in the sky, apparently. Yeah. So I'm waiting for the next NASA payload with hallucination in it.
Yeah.
To fake
hologram. I think he's looking for a hallucination.
Oh dear, and she's deadly serious. You know, if you go onto her Twitter feed, it's all kinds of stuff. She's kind of like, you know, really deep down in the rabbit hole, like with everything. Including the moon landings and well, no, the moon's not even real. I'm getting that confused with somebody else actually. Yeah, the moon just doesn't exist. We're imagining it apparently.
Well, that's a weird one. So I'm hoping she's not a Bible literalist, because that would be very much.
Oh no.
against the
Well,
Bible
I mean,
literacy.
I suppose I must be hallucinating because I looked at the moon the other night with my telescope. I managed to get it out again for the first time for ages. I had some bit of clear sky for a while, and I looked at it. I must be tripping on something then. I don't know.
It's definitely there. Unless you succumb to the hallucination.
I must have done.
Yeah. How does my camera succumb to the hallucination?
I don't know. Well, you're hallucinating apparently. Well, don't forget that the hallucination's in the sky because NASA sent it up there.
So you can take a photo of an hallucination.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, according to Caitlin.
So if you zoom in on a hallucination, do you see?
Still hallucinating.
You see more detail of the hallucination.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if you send a rocket up to the hallucination and land on it, then you can get really good detail of it.
Yeah. I mean, getting men to getting actual people to actually walk on the hallucination. It's amazing.
Yeah. And what's really funny is you can even get electromagnetic radiation to reflect off of the hallucination.
I know. Funny that. And light. Yeah, exactly. Light. That's what that is anyway, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, light includes light.
Yeah, it includes light. Yeah,
sorry. It just includes all possible wavelengths.
So it's not a lunar eclipse, it's a lunar hallucination.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's when there's a spot goes across the hallucination to form the.
So therefore, that means the sun must be an hallucination then that NASA sent up.
Yeah.
A double hallucination.
Oh dear. I don't know. Things you find on social media is amazing to find some real derp on it. It's fantastic for that.
Really have we got time for any type of questions tonight?
We didn't even talk about Virgin 1, did we?
Oh, that was before we started, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't even talk.
I might save the quiz for Saturday. I'll do the quiz on Saturday.
Yeah.
Paul's not going to be here, so I'll save tonight's quiz for them.
Those images that are over in First Suck, I'll share them, and that we can.
Except for the first question, which I'll change. So my first question is, what colours? And this is for Paul. What is a duck's favourite colour?
Go on in.
Scientists have determined what a duck's favourite colour is.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, believe it or not, it's green.
I was waiting for the punchline. I thought this is a
No,
joke.
it's not a punchline. No, it's actually actual science.
It just sounded like a joke. It's something you get out of a cracker. Got a quacker.
Well, that's what I thought when I first read it, and then I thought, no, this is actually a real post. It's actually a real scientific paper. Duck's favourite colour is green.
I'm not being funny, but did the people that carried out this scientific research get some funding, and where did they get the funding from to carry this out?
Yes.
Oh God, why? Why do you need to do that? Who cares what duck's favourite colour is?
Oh,
dear me.
What Matt just said ago made me think. Do you Christmas crackers in Australia?
Christmas crackers here. Yeah. They pretty much have all the same traditions you have. We just do the same things, but with sweat coming off the top of our brow. So
yeah, and a beer in your hand, out near the pool.
Every time you pull those crackers, you never know if you're going to get the wrong end or the right end.
No, I always get the right end. Because if they hand me the left end, I get them to turn it around, so I've got the right end. Sorry, what's your question now? About the Christmas crackers?
Obviously, they don't have them, do they? So, a lot of other parts of the world, so I wasn't quite sure whether you had them or not. Just because Matt mentioned it sounded like a Christmas cracker joke.
Yeah. I thought they got Christmas crackers in America. Blue.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Where don't they have Christmas crackers?
I'm sure I heard somewhere that they don't normally. It's not really a thing in the US. Christmas crackers,
Oh, yeah.
but
I know.
okay.
Well, I know one country where it's not really a thing, or some families might. In Germany.
Germany.
Yeah, I lived in Germany, and I remember spending one or two times on like Christmas Day or Boxing Day or whatever with some German families, and yeah, they never had Christmas crackers.
It's not in Japan either.
But
then again, Christmas Day is not a big thing in Japan except to have KFC. That's their big Christmas tradition is to get a bucket of KFC.
Is that right?
Yeah. Quite a few years ago, I believe. I can't remember when it was. Whether it was the 90s or the early 20 noughties. As an executive in the KFC branch over there, they decided to do a campaign for KFC, and they made it seem like that's what Americans do at Christmas is have KFC, like rather than turkey, which is what they really do. But it caught on, and the Japanese actually believed that for many years that that's what the Americans did, and so it became a tradition.
Larry
to have KFC
says they do in
Christmas.
Canada. They have crackers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll see ads and everything over there for KFC at Christmas and special Christmas buckets and all sorts of stuff.
TT says you have to go out of your way in the USA to get a cracker.
Oh, okay.
You go to the border into Canada, you can grab one.
Well, there you go.
Mind you, the last couple of years we haven't had crackers for Christmas dinner here with our family, at least anyway. So I think it's less popular now than it probably was before.
I prefer to either have really good ones with good prizes or really cheap ones with ones that you're not worried about throwing them away. One or the other.
Anyway, changing the subject. Something happened the other night, didn't it? Or something actually didn't happen.
Well, yeah, that's what I was sharing, so we could get the story.
Yeah, so we had the first attempt to launch an orbital rocket or an orbital launch from UK soil. In fact, it was going to be the first orbital launch from Western Europe. It was an air launch from a converted 747. Actually, it was an ex-Virgin Atlantic converted 747, but it didn't reach orbit. It didn't make it. Yeah, so it was a bit of a shame. So I think some people didn't. You saw Scott Manley did an analysis of it, and they think what happened was it was happened on the second stage. Because we're watching the launch, and it seemed to launch okay, and it seemed to be going all right, no problem. They staged off the first stage, that seemed to go, but then shortly into that, when we were looking at the Virgin Orbit's stream, the telemetry data that we saw, the speed started going up weird, different numbers, flashing up different numbers, including massive speeds, almost light speed. Was going a bit weird and stuff like that, and then the gimbal indicator, which is like the thrust indicator, as to what sort of direction it's heading, it went all a bit weird. But they didn't say anything at the time. And then the next thing, at about half an hour later or so, they announced that there'd been an anomaly. It didn't make orbit, and I think what Scott Manley seemed to think was that the second stage got too oxygen rich. He thinks. Or too little oxygen, maybe. And I think the sensors kind of saw that and thought, no, not doing that. And it shut the engine down prematurely before it could get to orbital speed. I think if you reach something like about, I don't know.
Yeah, but didn't he speculate that the speed fluctuated and the sensors might have been putting too much oxygen in, and that's why the speed increased, and then it shut it down, and then...
It could have, It could have been, I think he kind of did sort of go around that. So it's a theory. But the point is, like Virgin, Virgin Orbit is a relatively new company. It started in 2007. They've had now 6 launches and 2 failures. So that's about what? That's what, 66%, 2/3 of their launches have failed. It's not that unusual for a new startup, but I think if they had another failure, I think confidence would not be very good. It would not do them any good at all. Wherever they launch from, and they've launched from different parts of the world, Australia and America and stuff like that.
If this was only a test, or not so much a test, but a new thing, why would they bother even having the satellites inside the rockets to start with?
No, it wasn't a test.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they've done the
to
test.
know 100. So they
yeah.
got a rocket into orbit, did they, without the satellite?
Oh yeah. They've been successful. Yeah, they've had 4 successful launches, no problems.
Oh,
okay. Got satellites into orbit. These were real customers that had basically mini satellites or CubeSats.
Yeah, they're only CubeSats. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they have insurances to cover it monetarily, but obviously you get, like, particularly there was one Welsh team, the Welsh built their own satellite for the first time ever. Well, they lost that. That's fine. You can get insurance back for it, but the thing is, they spent years building that and developing that satellite. It's gone, so they've got to start again. So it was all in partnership with the UK Space Agency. Kind of was involved in it. Even the Royal Air Force, they had a Royal Air Force piloting the 747 and all the rest of it as well. So the UK Space Agency basically said, yeah, we're going to find out what's going on and we're going to try again. But the thing is that as well is that, I don't know if you know, but the UK does develop and build quite a lot of satellites. There's a significant amount of satellites that are used for various parts of the world. We produce quite a lot of them. So there's an open market for that. So, for a launch company to come along and do it better than them, so it could be, quite interesting. Could be a bit of competition going on soon. So if they don't get the skates on and get it right.
Kind of handy if you've only got to take satellite down to St. Paul to launch it, than taking it to French Guiana or Florida or
exactly
the west coast of America.
Yeah. And also, if you think about an air launch, I mean, that goes without saying, it's going to be a lot cheaper to launch as an air launch from a 747 than actually from a launch pad. Because if you think about all the infrastructure that's involved with launching, traditionally from a launch pad, it's that significant amount of cost involved per launch, as well as actually all the facilities to build it to begin with. Where they launched from, there was already, Alan will probably tell you more about it. Yeah, there was already an airport there of sorts, or an airstrip, which I think
as far as I'm aware, it's the former RAF St. Morgan, which is now Cornwall Newquay Airport.
Yeah, they've turned that into a spaceport now, with a mind to doing air launches in the future. But like I said, there's nothing stopping another company come along and doing it better. So, they need to, they're going to have to get it right. But I think, there's a good opportunity to do it from the UK. There's a really good opportunity, especially with sun synchronous launches, which is this was. So basically sun synchronous in like a polar orbit. That's, it's kind of an ideal location to do that kind of thing as an air launch. So a lot, hopefully there'll be more of it. I think it'll put UK actually on the map in terms of, launches and things like that for private companies. It'll be good. So hopefully next time they'll get it right. Another thing they need to get right as well, the live coverage that they produced was a bit lacking, to say the least. I think if Farms Boy he was here and he'd watched it, he would have been a bit more brutal about it. I think he would have said it was crap. Yeah, there was a lot of complaints actually. When you look at the Virgin Orbit's Twitter feed, there's a lot of people saying it was terrible, it was rubbish, and a lot more rude things being said as well. So yeah, they need to improve that as well. But yeah, shame, didn't work. But there you go, that's the way it is. Space is hard sometimes. Yeah, so that whole thing is kind of big in the news at the moment. Even the national news, it's been on the national news. And it's kind of like, typical British. We almost get it right, but not quite. That's a bit rude, I know. Yeah, so it'd be ideal if we produce so many satellites, then it just, like you said, like Alan says, just drive it down the road, put it into the payload of the rocket, put it onto a plane, launch it. There you go.
Yeah,
Very cost effective.
Because the big place for doing space stuff in the UK, from an academic point of view, is Surrey University at Guildford.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. From research and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
That's where they design. That's where they've designed quite a lot of satellites and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, probes and all sorts of things. Yeah. I think wasn't that what was the British Mars attempt called? I forget what it was called.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that. I think Surrey had something to.
Yeah,
I think
they did.
Surrey put something into it.
Yeah, they did.
But
Yeah, they put a lot of research into that. Yeah.
Open. That was actually the Open University.
Yeah,
that were the lead organisation.
Yeah, they led it, but I remember reading that. Yeah, I think they did, but I think they definitely had an input into it. I remember reading. Yeah,
Beagle,
that's it. That's
which was the name of whose ship was called Beagle.
Oh, I don't know.
Wasn't the one of the
some explorer's ship?
Wasn't it the ones that went over to the America or something?
No, wasn't that the ship that Darwin?
Was it called Beagle?
HMS Beagle?
Oh, it might have been. I didn't know that. Never even thought about it.
I don't know. I know there was some famous British exploring person whose ship was called the Beagle. I'm sure somebody in the Peanuts will be able to tell us.
Oh, we'll have to Google it then. Here we go.
Yeah,
I'll Google it for you.
Yeah. So anyway, for those that don't know, Beagle was an attempt by the British. We built a probe to land on Mars, but sadly, it crashed into the Mars surface. Didn't survive. But apparently, I mean, it was. I think there was some imagery, wasn't it, of Beagle, and it was sitting on the Mars surface with its panels open. But obviously suffered some damage enough to actually not function, at least anyway. So it wasn't a soft landing by any stretch.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like at that period in time. The Americans were having a bit of a problem getting soft landings on Mars as well, weren't they? So.
Yeah, probes wise, anyway. Yeah. If you look at the record, though, the Russians have had the most failures. They really haven't done very well on Mars at all with any of their probes. But if you look at NASA's record in terms of rovers on the Mars, it's been 100% successful. Just probes they had a bit of a problem with for a while. Yeah, but they learned their lessons.
It was Charles Darwin.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, HMS Beagle.
HMS Beagle. There you go. You were right. I never knew that. Learned something new every day. Never even thought about it. HMS Beagle.
There you go.
I thought they said at the time that they were actually going to build Beagle 2. Or Beagle 3 or whatever it is. Oh, who's this? Timbo's back.
Yeah, I think it was... I think they just didn't get the funding, did they?
No, I think they probably didn't. No, I never really sort of followed through with it.
I think the other problem was that with the first, Beagle Mars probe, because we were, they needed to get it launched while we were in a favourable orbital positions.
Yeah.
So they didn't have what you would call a lot of time for developing and testing, because they had to get the thing launched.
Yeah.
And I think that again was a bit of an issue.
Yeah, too much of a rush. I mean, that's happened a lot.
It doesn't really matter how long it takes to. Not that it should matter how long it takes a probe to get to Mars. Really, I mean, it's not like you've got to keep alive.
No, I think mostly it's the most fuel efficient way of actually doing it, because I mean sometimes you can use the other planets, like the outer planets or even the inner planets, if they're lined up properly to do, gravity assist, so to speak, to get to Mars. I mean, it takes an awful lot longer, but yeah, you're right. But I think they just prefer to do it the most fuel efficient way, I guess, the most quickest way possible.
When I pin a video in here for you guys to see it, does it go bigger?
Yeah, it's quite big.
Yeah, that's what.
But it's all right. Actually, that's fine. You can see the whole screen though. It's okay.
Yeah, for you guys in there when I'm sharing it. Yeah.
Oh, which video is this in by this guy M2M? Who's
this guy? Yeah, an M2M guy.
I'll tell you what, we could find out.
We could.
You could maybe press play and see.
Okay, I'll try.
Don't know which one of these. I can't see the title. Hi, I'm Matt, and welcome to another M2M Quick Vids. Yes, this meme is yet another lie found earlier today on Twitter. NASA did not use VHF to spot the deliberate mistake while on the moon. Alan, spot the deliberate mistake in this video. Alan will get it straight away. I know he will. But there's a deliberate mistake. Well, it's not deliberate, actually, but... They used a band called Universal S-band, or USB for short. And no, it's not the USB that you might be familiar with on your device you're using now. Universal S-band, as the name suggests, unifies telemetry, voice, and slow scan television transmissions on a single band, and worked on a frequency range of 2200 to 2290 megahertz. High band VHF only worked on a frequency of 169 to 216 megahertz. Now, USB allowed enough bandwidth to enable transmission of both voice comms and slow scan TV transmissions during low telemetry transmission periods, namely during the moonwalks. However, there is a but. NASA did use VHF to communicate between astronauts, the lunar rover, the lunar module, and also communication between Earth and the command module during orbital phases and recovery. So, the next time you see this pile of excrement of a meme, put them right, please. That's all from me. Until next time. So, did you spot the
Did we spot the mistake?
Yeah, did you spot the deliberate mistake?
A deliberate mistake.
Well, if it was deliberate, it wouldn't be a mistake, would it? I got something wrong.
You got something wrong. Okay.
What did you do?
I called it a universal S-band, and it wasn't. It was called Unified S-band.
Unified S-band. Yeah.
Got it
I
wrong.
hadn't thought about that for a long time. Yeah.
Do you know? I think what it was, because I had USB in my head. Because obviously it's Universal Serial Bus. I think I had that in my head, and I said it. Yeah. I know very well it is unified because I actually said that in the video because I said unify these different things. I said it myself, so it's kind of like didn't pick up on it. Stupid man.
Yeah, Tiny Captain is pointing out that VHF is a wider bandwidth than what you said.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was just reading that. Or was it? Okay. I just Googled it, to be honest with you. Okay. I'll accept that.
Mind you, I quite honestly don't remember what the limits of where VHF becomes UHF.
I think when I looked it up, I think it was VHF of that era, though. So whether that made a difference or not, I don't know. The taxi here used to use VHF of 152 megahertz. All right, okay. All right, fair enough. Certainly was a lower frequency than Unified S-band, though, that's for sure. Oh, here we go. Googling it. UHF, VHF means stands for blah, blah, blah.
What are we reading?
Range of low band. Oh, it's cut off a little bit there. Oh, there you go. Low band 378 to 512 All right, it's different from what I had. To high band 764 to 870 megahertz, while VHF ranges from low band 490 to 108. Just goes to show, actually, depends on which source you go to. Sometimes these things can vary. They're different, and it wasn't.
Well,
what I
that's
looked
Well,
at.
yeah, it is subjective to a point.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's not helping.
THT is possible. What do you mean THT, Tony Captain? THT possible. What's possible?
That THAT.
Oh, that is possible. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a typo.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's a good
Whoa.
effect. I like that. That's pretty.
I won't do that again in a hurry.
Yeah, I might look into about the because it's kind of interesting to me. So I might do a bit more research about the communications and stuff during the Apollo era and stuff. Maybe do a video on it. Maybe perhaps get some help from various sources. I think Alan probably could assist with that quite a bit.
Well, he would have said something, but he's not here.
No, he had to leave just at that point, just as you started playing. He had to go. Yeah. His daughter picked him up, I think.
I'm sure he is saying something. It's just to somebody else, not us.
Yeah. And not about this either.
Well, we didn't get the blue screen yet because I haven't touched the settings while we're streaming, except for the stop video.
Yeah, say
virtual camera.
You shared it then, and it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, doing all that's okay. Just don't go into the settings and click on any of the.
Yeah, just don't do anything else at all.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe what it is. I think your memory is kind of like it's one of it's broken, and basically it's not enough, and it just goes. Don't like that's too much information.
Yeah, too much. Yeah.
Too much going on. Yeah.
I mean, I could try to take two of them out, and if it still does it, take those two out and swap them for the other two, and then only have 8 gig memory instead of 16 or something.
You could do, but then your computer might struggle a bit, though.
Yeah. It runs better at the 16 gig.
Mm.
No, I'll see if I can. I haven't even Googled what RAM would cost. The DDR3s would cost these days.
No, I don't think it costs very much at all, Terry. I mean, DDR3, you won't get any new DDR3, but you get second hand.
Yeah, I know, but I want guaranteed good ones, though. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, you get some perhaps retailers that will give you a certain amount of warranty, but it's not going to be very good.
There's a computer shop that I'm going to see about for the new computer, and I might just, while I'm down there sorting out the new computer, I'll ask him, has he got any DDR3s for now?
Well, it can't be just any DDR3. Don't forget, it needs to be compatible with your machine.
Well, I put the new paste in. That's helped out a lot. My temperature runs it now. Where is it?
Oh, the temperature your CPU's running better.
Yeah, CPU temperature, yeah. It's running at, where are we?
There's a guy, my computer repair guy. He seemed to think that it's a good habit to repaste about once a year. Clean it all up, clean it all off, clean off your fan, clean off your heatsink.
63. It's maxed it. It's been maxing it at 63. That's total.
63 degrees. That's all right. That's okay.
That's total.
63's all right.
At the moment, it's running at about 50, 60, 58 total.
Yeah, mine hovers around about 60-ish, unless I'm doing a whole load of stuff, in which case it can go up to maybe about 65, but that's about high as mine goes.
It does show a category called generic memory. I wonder if that's to do with the RAM.
Generic memory, I'm not sure.
Don't know. But load memory, data, used memory, available memory. Farmer would know about that setting because he's the one that put me onto this.
Virtual memory
program.
you don't need to worry about because that's not physical.
But the fan doesn't turn on for the GPU. I've got another program that turns the fan on because I noticed that the temperature's a little higher, but it'll help with the circulation of air and everything.
Well, your GPU, don't forget, is really just he's working really hard on the graphics and things like that. If you're doing like a stream, it shouldn't really stretch too hard, to be honest with you, because I think it's mostly the CPU and your RAM is dealing with that. And with GPUs, really, depending on what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah, it's
mostly
maxed out at
games
56, but that's before I turned it on, the fan. And then it's dropped it back down to 33. I like it to be around near the 30s. But I've run the speed curve of the fan at 20 or 30% usage, and then the
Nerd Alert is giving you some advice. He says use magnetic core memory. It took us to the moon.
Okay. Yeah, I got the curve for the fan speed low at about 1200 RPM at this temperature percentage at 32%, and then it increases if it does get a little bit warmer.
Have you got more than one case fan? It's just one case fan.
I've only got one case fan.
Yeah.
It's a dual fan on the GPU and the fan on the CPU.
Dual fan, is it?
Yeah, it's a 3080 video card.
Oh, and your GPU. Oh, so your GPU. Sorry, yeah. Oh, some GPU you've got then.
Well, I thought it might have been the video card, but it's not. So it's not the video card. It's not the SSD.
It's probably not the CPU either.
And it wouldn't be the hard drive.
No, I wouldn't think so.
That'd show up.
Well, not if you're using an SSD either.
Yeah, the SSD runs the operating system mainly.
Yeah, I'm glad I moved over to SSD. Very, very glad about that.
The old SSD might be still alright. I don't know.
Oh, you were on SSD before that, were you? I thought you were on mechanical drive.
No, SSD was before that too. Well, the computer was freezing. Wouldn't even turn on. Wouldn't even get past the load screen.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, that would usually mean a hard drive or SSD anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Drive of some sort.
So I've got a new SSD and a new Windows set up in it, and lost all my stuff. That could be still. No, it's not.
Stingray's asking, Stingray, what happens is his computer goes into blue screen of death when he starts doing certain things on a stream, especially when he shares in Zoom.
When I share an image or a video.
Yeah. So we think it's probably his memory. We think on blue screen of death.
I mean, I could get the camera going on the phone right now, and we could drive it up and get it to blue screen of death, and I can take the photo of it.
Oh, Stingray's coming in. He's going to give his advice. There you go.
Well, I can't give him the details of it because I'd have to show an image of the blue screen of
which you haven't got. Yeah.
Yeah, which I haven't got.
Process of elimination. I think it's your memory.
That's true.
Hey, pal.
Hello, Dean.
What's the issue?
It's been an issue for a while now. First off, the computer started to freeze up on me at first, so I didn't know what that was. So I got a new SSD put in it with a new operating system, and then it started to. After that, it started to go to blue screen. I put a new video card in it as well. That didn't fix it. But if we go to share a video or something through Zoom, it'll trigger the blue screen. And it did a minute ago. The last thing we did was.
So what is the error in blue screen.
That's
There's
what
only
we. That's
kind
what
of
we can't get. It just says.
only-
It says
only
driver.
flash,
Yeah, it says
only
driver
flashes up.
IRQL or I.
only flashes up literally for a second or two.
Yeah, I
Stingray, that's
can't
why
get
you
my
can't-
phone
you
out
can't
quick
get the error
enough to
code.
turn it on to get the camera to.
no,
take
but
photos.
it'll be in the event log.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
yeah, I did look into that.
But if you say if you say IRQ, their hardware, this is not something that users manage anymore. You used to have to, but their hardware interrupts, which are little timing things which get assigned resources and addressing on the actual motherboard. An IRQ interrupt means something asked for something and it wasn't available because something was using something else that, you know, that doesn't allow that something that it wanted to be used
Yeah.
in a roundabout way. And that's not common with today's hardware management. If it's
his machine is fairly relatively old, Stingray.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
is
thing.
10, 12-year-old motherboard.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so that's what makes me think it's
one of the
it's
first
memory
gens
because
i7s,
yeah.
3770s.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what makes me think. That's another reason what makes me think it's memory.
And the
He's got a memory
the
problem.
RAM's about that old too.
Memory would have an addressing issue, but it wouldn't be reported as an IRQ error. I don't think.
I mean, I can try to trigger it and have my phone out ready to take the photo. That's the only other option I've
Don't
got.
take a photo, Terry. Record a video.
Record a video.
But how's he going to do that if only flashes up for a second or two?
Yeah, off my phone.
On your phone, record a video, not an image. Therefore, you can send the video and pause it and get the frame where the error came up.
It just comes up on the blue screen. It's not something you have to wait for. Oh, you're talking about? Yeah, he's saying to have it running the whole time while I'm waiting for the error, and then the error comes up.
Oh, wait, is it not instantaneous when you try and share a screen or something?
No, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
It only happens if I try to overload the system. I'm saying with the when I share a video into
Terry, so Terry, you say you put a 3080 in there.
Yeah.
And you say you're also pissing about with the fan curves because you want it down at 30 degrees, which is utterly a ridiculous statement, by the way, because those cards operate at between 60, 70 just in passive shit and go all the way up to 95 degrees for optimal temperature when under load.
Mm.
And they've got their own management profiles, which are pretty decent. But with your graphics card, you've not done something like is this when you add visual demand, would you say, on
Yeah, I'd say visual demand because I'm sharing a screen or sharing a video to the Zoom.
Well, no, I tell you, but it's not necessary though, is it? Because like you said before, you were sharing something on the screen on Zoom, and it was fine.
Yeah, using the virtual camera, and then I went into the settings.
You went into settings while you're doing it, and it went
into the virtual camera setting thing, and I clicked on something.
So I personally think what's happening is that one of his or one or two of his RAM sticks have gone, and it's just overloading the system, and there's still an error each on one or two of his sticks. Because it's quite possible considering how old it is.
I know you can go into the data log and find the error thing. I have looked into that.
Yeah, I mean, with the memory type of issue, memory, a RAM module going down, it's not common that you will buy a RAM module that is fine, and then throughout the life, a segment of it will become corrupt. That's very, very uncommon. It will either be corrupt from the start and potentially be randomly cutting out. It's not something that would develop necessarily over time. Just really quick question, Terry. Have you you've got auxiliary power inputs to the graphics card on a 3080? Has that got a decent enough supply?
My power supply 750, 700.
No. So on the 3080, you've got two auxiliary power cords that need plugging into it. Besides it going into your motherboard and sucking, like 19 watts from the motherboard, you've got two auxiliary units that can supply quite a lot of wattage each that get plugged into the card separate.
Yeah, it's an 8-pin with a 6-pin and two other pin, another double pin that goes into the side of it. It joins together.
And that's plugged in fine, and you've got beefy enough PSU.
I don't know what that means.
No, I mean you plugged it in fine, and it plugs in. I take it you've got a newer PSU then, power supply unit.
No, it's the same power supply unit that I've had before. It's the same one, the original one.
All right, so it's like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's got a 750 watt PSU.
Because I went from 1660, and I still had the issue with that, and then I went up to this video card thinking it was the video card, but it wasn't the video card. So all I've ended up with this is just a bigger video card for now.
Nice. Oh, you can game on that though, Tara. It's pretty decent.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, with a 750 PSU as well. I don't think he's going to be stretched for that.
So that's what it was. That's what was confusing me with the computer the way it was before we did all this. The way it was freezing up on the load screen, it wouldn't even go past your load where you have your name come up. That first screen with the picture, it was freezing there.
I mean, a really interesting thing when people say SSD, that's like saying I've got a car. It's an utterly ridiculous statement.
Mm.
SSD just means you've got solid state memory, which can be incredibly slow or incredibly fast. But the fact that it's SSD has nothing to do with either of those two facts. The fact of whether it's bound to a SATA 3 gigabit port or a 6 gigabit port, or it's actually NVMe direct to the PCIe bus. The difference between all of them is, an SSD can be read at 300 megabits per second, or it can be read at 30,000 megabits per second, all while being called an SSD. What I would suggest, though, Terry, is get a brute force memory tester and run that in Windows. It'll just sit there and brute force every addressing portion of the memory. And if it conks out, then you know it's the memory. It does. I would also. So another thing about a 750 watt. 750 watt doesn't really. It's pretty irrelevant saying a PSU is 750 watt. That means under the theoretical design limit, design purposeful limit, it can draw or it can supply 750 watt. But that might be for a fraction of a second. It'll be rated with like silver, bronze, gold. And then based off how well those components are, there's also variance in that about what it can supply. So it could be that because the PSU is so old, if you're demanding something that is either processor memory intensive or GPU intensive, it's actually pulling more draw from the PSU that it can supply. So therefore, a voltage, voltage drops, and it's not necessarily. It won't be reported as I don't have enough voltage. It'll be reported as this component seems to be corrupt or not working because it wasn't supplied with enough current to do what it's supposed to do. But it doesn't get reported like that. It gets reported as, address failure or something like that. So there's a few things that you can do to actually diagnose this, I would say. First thing is run the memory. Second thing is run brute force simultaneously. And if the memory doesn't do anything, second thing is brute force, a stress test on the CPU. Because that draws, the CPU will suck 90 watts flat out, probably, if it's not an inefficient i7. You brute force it for a certain amount of time. So that'll tell you whether it's either power draw, because it's flat out to begin with. It might not be power draw to the CPU. It'll tell you whether it's temperature on one of the cores, because if one of the cores reports, I've got bad thermal conductivity and it goes over a limit, that can cause a blue screen. Or it can cause actually what you call a step down first and then a blue screen. So the machine would be almost unusable, like it's paused, and then it'll cut to a blue screen. But then you can also stress the GPU as well to see if that's anything. And then the best thing to do, if you can't find any of that, is stress all of them simultaneously to see if you can get it to happen. Does that make sense?
The CPU, I've repasted the fan to the back of the CPU.
Do you want to know the craziest thing, Terry? And this is, I swear to God, I got this from a chip engineer. the thermal paste that you put on there is not meant to be a paste between the two components. It's meant to be a micro filler for micro abrasions on the surface.
Yes.
Yeah. People apply it as this big donut and let it spread out and stuff.
No,
That's
I don't.
actually not what it was designed for.
No. I put
No,
Everybody does that
I
now.
put such a small dot on it that it spread out very, very thinly just to take out that imperfections between the two surfaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put it on literally and almost take all of it back off.
Yeah, I didn't know that, Blue, though. Every video that I've watched for 10 years of my life on building PCs and stuff said, oh, you put a P size on and you want to get a nice spread. And then I think it was George. George commented, and I asked him, I said, well, what about this? And he goes, no, that's not what that's for. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, all it's doing is filling up the voids, the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
tiny scratches in the surfaces.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all it's doing.
Yeah, but I promise you, if you watch any video on YouTube about how to apply thermal paste, even from these brilliant people, they're just
the amount they put
just,
on is ridiculous. They blob it on.
Oh, I know. I've only been using that stuff since the early 1970s. Back in the day, and then way before microprocessors, we were using it for high power semiconductors, silicon controlled rectifiers and stuff like that.
I reckon I put on about a third of a P.
You had to be extremely careful, because if you put too much of it on there, you are actually hurting the thermal capability of the system.
Yeah.
You literally want, the best thing would be perfectly machined, perfectly smooth metal to metal surfaces. If you could have that, you wouldn't want any paste on it.
Well, that's my video card there, Sharon. Not the video card, the motherboard.
Oh God, that is old.
Yeah, SSD's plugged into that corner one there.
Yeah, so that's not a great speed benefit at all. It's only marginally faster than a decent hard drive, physical hard drive, because you're limited by the bus speed on that connector, which will be, I'm guessing at that age, it'll only be a 3 gigabit one. Whereas if you, Terry, you see those PCIe slots, the blue ones, or even the short ones, at 16 speed or even 8 speed, they've got a bandwidth of about in between 10 and 20 times what that port has. So you can get NVMe SSDs on a card and put them in there and have like 30 times quicker hard drive, 30 times quicker storage. Just saying.
I did notice a big difference though when I went from the hard drive to the SSD for the startup of Windows. It went from nearly 20-30 seconds down to about 5 to 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like I say, that SSD, if it's a 3.5-inch drive or something, is the slowest form of solid state storage you can get. NVMe, so you'll have, like, let's say it's got a speed of 3 or a speed of 6. Yours, because of the board, will be limited to a speed of 3. If you got an NVMe one and put it in one of the PCIe slots, which is an SSD, solid state storage, NVMe, you could have a speed of 30. So instead of loading in 10 seconds, it loads in 1 or 1.5.
It's got that one there in the middle there where you can plug in some sort of SSD in there on the motherboard. I don't know what that's for.
Where's that?
Right in the middle.
Oh, no, that's it. Well, actually, wait a minute. No.
I can't quite read
so
that
unfortunately, because the board's that old, that interface and the protocol I'm running on that is just mSATA. So that just uses a different form factor, but actually the same speed bus as the SATA ports.
Yeah, the ones over here, yeah.
Yeah, mSATA relates to the actual protocol, and which directly relates to the bus speed that it's capable of.
So what my plan is just to give this computer in its basic form to the missus, just to use for her what she does, because it'll be quite fine for her.
Take the 3080 out of it, Terry.
No, she's not going to use that.
No, definitely not. No.
And I'm going to get i9 motherboard processor. I don't the motherboard MSI or Gigabyte. If that's the two, that's my two first choices. I'm not sure of any other.
I would, if you can stretch to it, I would get a motherboard that at least supports the latest generation as well.
Well, that's i9.
Because then
That's the i9.
No.
Generation is different. i9 doesn't mean it's the generation. That's different because you can get
it's in Intel and AMD. It's the first number after that, Terry. So a 12900, a 13900, a 14900. Yeah. So you can have an i9 14, an i9 13, and the 13 is the generation. But I would just say ditch Intel, because Intel will give you 2 years of upgradability. AMD on the AM4 socket has already given people 6.
Yeah, true.
And they're still supporting it now for another 2 years. So their latest CPUs are built for AM4 and AM5. So if I were you, I'd say get an AM5 motherboard, and then just a decent AM5. I don't know. I'd say Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 series.
These are the two that I got a quote to get the comparison.
Yeah, so your i9 12900, that's 12th generation i9 processor. The I part of it, the number, that's just how many cores, an indication of how many cores it has. So yeah, you can even have an i7 1200 of some sort. But fully installed $1,947. Blimey, that's a lot. 1,740.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let's have a look at that again, Terry. Wait a minute. I'm just there we go. What is it?
That's Aussie dollars, I take it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah. So where did you get this from, Terry?
This is just from a computer shop.
Yeah, screw that. Go to pcpartpicker.com.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have heard of them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what. I'll. What's your budget? PC part picker.
Well, I haven't really got one. It's just I just want to get something that I know that's gonna do the job for me for the next few years.
That's the best kind of budget. There isn't one. Yeah, I like that. Wait a minute. I'm gonna go.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's unlimited though.
Yeah,
well,
that's
kind of. I hate to say this, but it kind of does. Budget's not important. Right, let's wait a minute. So what I'm going to do, let's have a look at this.
1,947 Australian dollars is 1,100 quid. Jeez, that's a lot.
Yeah, Terry, screw that off. Ditch. Wait a minute. So I've just built myself a new. Rig actually.
Yeah, the parts picker website's pretty good because it helps you with the compatibility, so you can pick your parts, and then it gives you the option to actually go to various retailers to get the best price for each part. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm sharing. You can see what I'm sharing, can't you, Terry?
Yep, I can.
So you get the wattage as well. So I would base all of this off. A Ryzen, actually the new X, they listed it. Let's have a look.
It's not there, is it?
Well, the Ryzen 7, and then it's the X3D with the 3D cache.
Oh, there you go.
Which has actually got more L2 cache, but they don't have. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to be doing with it, Terry?
What he's doing now.
Yeah, what I'm doing now, playing online video games, but I need that processing power as well. To the extreme.
You don't play online video games.
Well, I'd like it to be able to that extreme. I want at least to be up there.
Right, so I would say go with. Oh, I'll tell you what. First of all, because what I did, my company paid kind of, so I weren't that bothered. But I got the best motherboard that I can for the money, because it just guarantees me future upgradability. The difference in motherboards, unless you're pedantic about features and overclocking and memory timings and all that kind of stuff, the features and the differences between minimal ones and expensive ones are actually very little depending on what type of user you are.
Yeah.
So it's more about the form factor. Do you care? You want it fairly big and easy to work on, don't you?
Yeah. I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend $10,000 on a computer. So my budget is still around the couple of thousand.
Wait a minute. It's the what
I've already got the video card, so that saves me a few hundred.
Let's see what the cheapest X670 board is, because this will last well beyond whatever Intel is asking.
I've got an ep off again, Terry. I'll join you in Discord a little bit later.
Righto, Matt.
Something I've got to do. I'll catch you in a bit.
Yeah, I'll probably end up finishing up in a minute.
Right, I would say 7600 would do, yeah. And then memory. Unfortunately, we have to get DDR5 with this, which is a bit shit. Oh, and here's an interesting thing. I bet you didn't know, Tara. Manufacturers will, if you buy, let's say we got a kit of 2 8s, yeah, 2 8 gigabit modules, and you've got 4 DIMM slots. So from the exact same manufacturer, you buy another 2 8 gig modules in the same kit. So you get 2 16 kits that are independently packaged. The manufacturers do not guarantee that they will work together.
Oh.
Because they're not a matched pair, or they're not a matched set. I find that ridiculous.
Yeah.
But every manufacturer says that. If you buy, if you bought a 16 like this in 2 8s, and then bought another one of the same at the same time from the same vendor.
Yeah.
And then you had a crash and you realized it was a memory crash, and you went to the manufacturer and said, "Hey, I've got all your memory." And they said, "Well, did you buy them all as a set, a matched set?" And you said, "No, it's not their problem."
Oh, geez.
I know. What about really weird.
What about the single ones that are 8 gig and then you buy 2 of them for the 16?
No, same thing. Same thing. It has to be under the guarantee of every manufacturer of RAM. It has to be the same matched pair or matched set.
Wow.
Yeah, it's true.
It's ridiculous, though, isn't it, Blue? And I get why.
Yeah.
But the tolerances involved means that 99.9% of the time it's going to be fine anyway. But in that 0.1%, they're not going to support you at all.
Wow.
Here we go. So we'll have that. Video card you've already got, right?
Yeah.
NZXT, pretty decent.
Have you got a shopping cart there that you're putting all this in?
I'm going to send you the link to this build.
Yeah.
Corsair, EVGA. PSUs are all pretty decent. You just want a gold or above rating so that there's little to no fluctuation in the supply, and we want it. Well, you got 3080. Yeah. So we want it minimum that. So we'll just go with a gigabyte one. Will be fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Gigabyte.
An 80 plus gold. And we want a cooler because AMD have stopped doing coolers. I actually use, is it this one that I've got? I use water, closed system. Well, I've got the 3-fan version of this. You just want air cooling, don't you?
Yeah, it doesn't get that hot here in this room.
In Australia? Is that what you were going to say? I mean, they're like, yeah, I think I disagree with that. Yeah, so this would batter what you just came up with. That spec that you just came up with.
Yeah. Oh, the one that I got a quote from just a random shop. Yeah.
Yeah. So $1,600, you can build this yourself. This Ryzen 5 7600X, it will be, single core speed of that is blisteringly quick.
Yeah.
When they bring out the 3D version of it, it'll actually drop by about $100, but be just as good in most workloads, all but rendering workloads, which you'll never do. So you could hold off on that. But the thing about this system is it's an AM5 socket. In let's say hypothetically in 5 years' time, AMD bring out another CPU. It will fit this motherboard.
Okay.
Intel won't. You have to buy a new motherboard, new memory.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. And this also gets you an NVMe solid state. So this is it'll be a minimum of 10 times quicker than what you've got at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, you've got 300 megabits per second. This will be 3,000 minimum.
Okay.
What I shall do, and this is the Australian price, by the way, because it's changed to Australian. I shall save that and I will send it to thee. But yeah, have a play about with different coolers. But like I say, this just by itself will piss on the build that you just had.
Oh yeah.
Because I think the one that you had isn't even
I'm paying
current.
I'm paying for them to supply it and assemble it as well.
Yeah,
That's where that pricing's.
Yeah, but assembling it is so easy.
Oh, I've done a few.
Yeah.
I've done a few computers that doing that.
Well, I'll post this in the chat in a second. The link to it.
Yeah, it's not hard to assemble.
Say.
Why am I still sharing? Turn that off. Stop virtual.
I'll put it in Discord, Terry.
Yeah. Okay. Stop virtual camera.
Yeah, that was the one that I just did up. But like I say, wait for that. Well, get an AMD Ryzen 5 7600 3D, and that'll be cheaper and quicker for your use.
Better write that in there with that. I'll put that in me computers. Copy. Computers.
Oh, wait a minute. They don't do a 3D of that. Maybe I have to get 7800. Let me have a look at how much they are.
Yeah, I was tossing up the choice between the Ryzen and the Intel.
Oh, it's not even a consideration for me anymore. If I know that I can upgrade to the latest CPU in 5 years, I go with that option. Well, I don't know whether you know this, Terry, but AMD have just screwed up royally with their with a lot of their graphics cards. You'll like this, Blue. The inside vapor chamber, it doesn't work. When I say doesn't work, it does slightly work, but about 80% down on efficiency when the card is mounted horizontal, which unfortunately is about how 90% of people mount them.
Yeah.
It's a bit terrible, that.
How did they pull that off?
I got no idea. by testing it only, by designing it and testing it only vertically, I would imagine. But what was amazing is this guy bought loads of them, and even machine CNC'd, to cut it in half and stuff to have a look. And then he got one of the cards, and he was testing it and the thermal properties of it and how well it performed vertically. And then because he had this PCIe extension rig, he then turned it horizontally, but he did so with like zero force on the heat sink and all that kind of stuff. So it was all still together and in a fixed thing. And just by nature of rotating it 90 degrees, he saw the temperatures steadily rise over the next like 4 minutes to a point where the card started throttling its frequencies back. Really shit. You all right there, Tara?
Yeah, I'm just saying me goodbyes to the peanuts out there.
Yeah.
Winding up now. Been going long enough. Lindsay killed the stream twice. We won't blame Matt this time. Well, thanks for that, Dean. That'll give me some more information and technical.
Yeah, that PC part picker site allows you to like use loads of different configs and stuff and swap things out. You can look at people's pre-builds as well. So they've done configurations on there that said, oh, I'm building this for, video editing. And you can search for that and have a look at their build and get the parts list. Really good.
Yes, the online video game type limit that I'm looking at, as long as it can run that sort of stuff, that's probably the limit of what I'm thinking. And for live streaming, obviously.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like I say, those Ryzen chips, especially the X3D, not the X variants, because they're incredibly power hungry, incredibly power inefficient, and only come into their own if you're going max out all the time on something like rendering or compiling or something like that. But the new X3D variant of the latest AMD chips are amazing. They're incredibly power efficient, and their single core and multi-core scores, price for performance is staggering.
Well, I like to do this type of homework when I go to purchase something. That's why I haven't gotten any further with it yet. I've been doing the homework on it.
Like I say, I went all out because I wasn't paying, so I got like an AM5 motherboard that cost like $600-700, because that's the foundational component that's going to still be with me in 5 years.
But that's not too bad, the price for a motherboard. To me, that's okay.
No. I mean, yeah, I've got an Asus. What have I got? An Asus Republic of Gaming Crosshair X670E. It's called. But it allows me loads of configuration options.
Everyone's dropped out on us already, Dean. We've lost Paul. Blue's still here. Timbo's gone.
I'm here.
Yeah, I said Blue's still here.
Yeah.
Matt'll be back later over in Discord. I'll go and hang.
He's over there.
I'll go and hang over there for a minute and have a cuppa and get ready to go to bed.
Well, in that case, I'm out of here.
Okay then, Blue. Thanks, Blue. Thanks, Dean and Matt and Alan and Paul, even though they're all gone, and Timbo. Thanks, Peanuts, Gene, Jaren, Fondle, Armageddon, Tiny Captain, Clive, Nerd Alert, Fred, Matthew. Who else is out there? Clive. Oh, there's somebody naked out there. Bros in Flat Earth Discord. In the Flat Earth Discord. Right? Who else was out there? I know Carl was there earlier on the other stream. Seen him there before. Under the Blood Red Sky. Who else am I missing? Stewie. Judy. What'd you say, Judy? May skip Lindsay. Okay, well you did. This stream you did. Alright then. I'll see you in the next one. And maybe the card wasn't level. Yeah, I'll pay that. Oh, good night everyone.